High-quality literature can be characterised but not limited to its ability to engage readers in multiple diverse levels, offers deep and rich language and themes that support students and readers to think and interpret what the purpose of the literature is about. It includes characters and a plot that enriches discussion and explores literary devices which composers use to communicate, inform, persuade, or entertain. High-quality texts also have many opportunities for engagement and learning. They are texts that are created by people and for people and have a deeper messaging that isn't just surface level, but allows students and readers to be stretched. Literature holds a prominent role for students in primary school years. It focuses on the study of literary texts, developing students as independent, innovative, creative individuals and thinkers who can see the value and appreciate the aesthetic use of language, rationalise perspectives, and challenge new ideas and interpretations. Literature in primary school builds essential literacy skills, fosters language development, enhances social understanding, and overall provides a language model for those who hear and read it. The novel I've chosen is The Sugarcane Kids and the Red-Bottom Boat, written by Charlie Archbold. This book has won many awards, proving the essence of the novel and the level of high-quality literature, which it clearly is. The setting of the book is in North Queensland, with the themes including family, friendship, adventure, courage, teamwork, danger, and diversity, all which have a key emphasis on the quality of literature which this text is. The Sugarcane Kids and the Red-Bottom Boat proves to be an example of high-quality literature and would work well as a mentor text. A mentor text offers examples of complex language which are there to stretch and engage students in their reading abilities. As students read alongside mentor texts, they begin to read like a writer, building knowledge about the vocabulary and grammar authors use and the purpose it conveys to the readers. This book has a strong sense of setting, ensuring to the readers that it is known to be in a northern Queensland coastal community, with tropical weather and being close to the sea. It presents authentic voices and experiences woven through the setting, community life, and dialogue of the characters. In an Australian classroom, students would be able to make connections to their real-life experiences, allowing them to think deeply about the language they may or may not have already heard here in Australia, such as mate or even Barbie. Furthermore, there is a strong character development and characters are proven to be relatable to primary school readers. An example of this is demonstrated through the main protagonist, Eli. He evolves significantly throughout the novel, with being a hesitant and unsure to becoming a brave leader in the group's investigation of helping Jacob. His character development is gradual and consistent throughout the novel and offers depth and an emotional engagement to all readers as they follow through alongside the story. Lastly, Charlie Archbold used rich language and literary devices throughout the novel to engage and describe key and vivid images of the landscape throughout the book. An example of this is on page 10. In the dry season, the water shrinks into a thin brown steam, like a scab, all dried up along the edges. This simile is a key example of why this book is an example of a high-quality text, as it allows readers to make comparisons to a concrete image of what the dry season is like in northern Queensland, and makes the description more immersive, relatable, and entertaining for young readers. This is a great example of where it could be used as a mental text with the curriculum code AC9E5LE04, where students will learn how to use figurative language techniques. The type of text that is most suited to the Sugarcane Kids and the Red-Bottom Boat would be classified as contemporary realism, with one of the main reasons being due to the location and setting in which this book takes place in. Archbold makes it evident that the setting is in far north Queensland, depicting real-life settings of the Australian weather and lifestyle being stinking hot and how they must open the fly-wire door, which we can all say are quite relatable with keeping that shut, emphasising what an Australian summer looks like. The book also highlights real-world themes, including crime, school, and separated families, and although nothing bad happened between Andy's parents, it was like they ran out of love for each other, and enforces the idea to readers that it was sad and all of that, but mostly at night time, making it a contemporary life situation that has probably occurred to many of the readers. Therefore, they are able to make an emotional connection to it. The novel also alludes to the real-life theme of racism, as if Jacob's grandpa was still alive, he would say it was because of the way Jacob looked that they'd been so quick to arrest him. This highlights the systematic prejudice in how Jacob was perceived by authorities because of his appearance, and unfortunately even in Australia today, this is a real-life contemporary problem. The use of contemporary realism in this novel situates the reader to have empathy for the characters, and there are many situations where young readers may find what the characters are going through relatable, therefore building a connection between the story and real life. There is also a sense of spiritual realism, as Archbold mentions and acknowledges the First Nation Australian people, where Andy's dad highlights how badly people from the Pacific Island got treated working through the cane fields and how they were taken from their homes and families and made to work. Archibald uses this point for the purpose of learning and sharing knowledge of what has occurred in Australia in the past, and acknowledges North Queensland's ancestry and place and what has happened there in history. Furthermore, the cultural context of this novel is evident, being set in an Australian town where neighbours know everything about each other. Australian kids can roam and ride the streets freely, making real-life cultural context what it's like here for children in Australia. The colloquial and laid-back language, such as mate, good on ya, rack off, and nah thanks, connects with the Australian lingo and slang. This makes a cultural context and relationship to the readers who can relate to the language used in the novel, as well as the language they probably use in real life. Culture is expressed in other forms throughout the novel, including how the friends casually go swimming, looking out for snakes under the house, riding their bikes and having a meet on the barbie. This type of genre is purposeful to this high-quality literature as it reflects community practices and family life. Students can relate throughout the book to the themes and make connections to what they may have experienced in their own lives. This supports the development of identity and emotional development in young readers. The Sugarcane Kids and the Red Bottom Boat has many examples of literary elements throughout the book, one of them being a symbol. A symbol can be an object, an action, an expression, but in this case it was a character who held significant meaning throughout the novel. A symbol that stood out throughout the book was through one of the recurring characters, Turtle. Turtle came to Australia from Indonesia with Eli's grandfather. Her culture is Indonesian, and there was even an old black and white photo of the two of them on the dresser. Eli's grandpa is holding a surfboard in one hand and hugging Turtle in the other. This shows their love for the beach and each other. Whilst in Indonesian cultures, turtles are highly revered and hold significant symbolic meaning. They are often connected with wisdom and being the foundation of the world. This could be connected to the way in which Turtle supports Eli throughout the novel. She is patient and caring, even when baby Morris has a meltdown. Turtle hauls him up and calmly soothes him. Her demeanour is calm and grounded, being symbolic to a turtle and someone Eli and her grandchildren can look up to in times of needs. Setting is defined as the time and place in which a story is located. It was recognised well from the start of the Sugarcane Kids and the Red Bottom Boat. Within the first page of the book, it highlights that saltwater crocodiles love the colour red. A crocodile is an Australian animal, therefore from the initial and early stages of the book, the audience can get a sense of place. Setting is also established on the blurb, where they are located in a coastal town in far north Queensland, between the sugarcane fields and the mangrove swamps, emphasising the setting and the context for the events to come. Home is a significant place in literature for young people, often representing identity and belonging. Setting within this book reflects the comfort and dangers of living in an Australian coastal community and immerses the readers to feel like they are also in the setting. A theme is a central meaning or significant message realised through the ways that setting, characterisation and plot cohere and develop throughout the book. There are many themes evident throughout the novel, including community. A strong community works together to protect and support one another. This is shown through the children's trials and efforts that are supported by the wider community. Although it is a small town, family members and locals who share knowledge and their understanding about the island and what's on it will help prove Jacob innocent. Furthermore, the themes of friendship can develop through difficult times, such as when Andy and Eli don't always agree on things, such as when Andy proposes a risky plan to investigate, but Eli is hesitant and highlights the dangers of getting caught or going into unsafe areas like the mangroves at night. Although they seem to bicker, they rely on each other's strengths to help find the jewellery and overall develop a stronger friendship. The protagonist in the Sugarcane Kids and the Red Bottom Boat is Andy. He drives the plot throughout the whole novel. Through Andy's eyes and ears, we see and are able to hear and empathise with him throughout the story. Other focal characters include Eli, Jacob and even Turtle. Although they are not the main characters, they show significance to the book in many other ways. My visual text and collage links to the Sugarcane Kids and the Red Bottom Boat, as it highlights the emphasis and the tension between adventure and endangerment that leads throughout the entire novel. The Red Bottom Boat is a vital symbol to the story, as that is where they found the evidence that releases Jacob out of jail after being falsely accused of jewellery theft. The setting surrounding the boat is the sugarcane fields, the water, and a turtle, symbolising the strong sense of place, cultural context, and wisdom which this book holds. The salience in this image is the Red Bottom Boat, as it is the most attention-grabbing image in the book. The boat is the largest and most vibrant coloured image utilised in the visual text, and it draws the reader's attention to it first, reflecting the overall importance of finding the jewellery in the boat. The flipped red bottom boat is deliberately made the most salient visual, echoing the recurrent reference to the mysterious red bottom boat rumoured to be hidden deep in the mangrove. The info reference to this is written and highlighted on the blurb, expressing to the audience the significance that this boat will have throughout the story. Furthermore, gaze is used, as in my final collage I have both Andy and Eli's faces in different directions, representing their conflicting perspectives throughout the novel. This could be seen through Eli's brown eyes, which are a mixture of angry and sad. This image mirrors Andy's boldness versus Eli's cautions of the danger that could occur in their mission to recover the stolen jewellery. Symbolism was used throughout the visual image in which I created. An image of a turtle was placed along the crystal blue sea where shadows of reefs make the water darker blue in places. The turtle is there to represent the leading presence Eli and Jacob's grandma has on their life, and following the idea that Turtle will provide guidance and wisdom for them, even though no grown-ups, and that includes turtles, even though she's cool, were allowed to know about the boys' plan to prove Jacob innocent. Furthermore, the small turtle in the visual image highlights that even though she is small, she can make you feel safe. Hence why, although Turtle didn't know the plan, the boys knew she would be with them always to keep them safe. Furthermore, I used colour between the choices of clothing on Eli and Andy in the boat. Andy wearing brighter clothing, red and orange specifically, to emphasise his desire and vitality to free Jacob, as well as red to highlight the danger in many of his ideas. This presents how his decisions tended to be more reckless and less thought out, whereas Eli was more cautious of the dangers around him and thought deeply about the actions and consequences of both of them. Therefore, the colours I have used on him are greyer and beiger, representing his more conservative and uncommitted he was with Andy's possibly dangerous ideas. The poem which I created was called The Red Bottom Boat. Through mangrove fingers, shadows creep. Enigmas of the river run far and steep. A boat with a bottom the colour of a beating heart. Alive with every swell, it carries a spell that dares to save the innocent. The sugarcane leans tall like whispers in the breeze, telling an unsettled story, a haunting call. The children drift, facing new beginnings, fearing ends. Will they work together until the very end? Hope is the oar that cuts through the night. The hope of the innocent relies on friendship's might. They must stay tight like a pack of turtles, sheltered together as danger circles. So let the current carve the way past mangrove roots where secrets stay. The sugarcane sways, the red-bottom boat glides, guiding the kids with courage on their side to save the innocent and turn the tide. The poem which I created reflects the adventure and suspense evident in the sugarcane kids and the red-bottom boat, exploring the children navigating and being guided to the river and working collaboratively to face challenges together. The red-bottom boat is a significant image enforced throughout the entire book, therefore was chosen to be a salient figure in the poem. The boat signifies the journey Eli and his friends undertook to prove Jacob's innocence and symbolises hope and courage they have to find the jewellery. Throughout the poem, I have used a variety of different figurative language techniques to support the purpose of the poem and make it more engaging for the reader. Simile is a term that is used when two fundamentally unlike things are explicitly compared, typically using phrases that begins with like or as. In the poem, I use a simile a few times, such as the lines tight like a pack of turtles, as it gives a vivid image of unity and protection, making a connection with the children's teamwork, while also making a connection to Eli's grandma called Turtle, who always made the boys feel safe. Metaphors are used when two fundamentally unlike things are indirectly compared as being the same. A metaphor was emphasised in the line, the boat with the colour of a beating heart. The metaphor was used to convey more than the literal appearance of the boat, and instead just writing it was read, it gives the boat emotion and evokes a vivid mental image for the readers. Imagery is a term that means the use of language to form mental pictures. The Australian Curriculum English V9 states that imagery is visually descriptive or figurative language to represent things, including objects, actions, and ideas in ways that appeal to the senses of the viewer or reader. In the poem, the lines, through mangrove fingers, shadows creep, and the sugarcane leans tall like whispers in the breeze, creates a strong visual image that evokes the eerie and mysterious setting of the mangroves and what it would have been like from a children's perspective, such as Andy's and Eli's. Overall, the purpose of this poem was to reflect the journey that Eli, Andy, and their friends went on to prove that Jacob was innocent through trials of dangers, questioning who'd go into the mangroves at night, friendship challenges, and the triumphs of living in far north Queensland. The kids worked together to prove that Jacob is innocent and how it feels so good to be back together.